Hi, everybody. I'm Amanda, and I'm going to be one of your hosts of this episode of Chick Chat. Chick Chat is the place where we celebrate the perfect fusion of style and adventure, and Jeeps have long been synonymous with ruggedness, freedom, and the spirit of adventure. And who says women can't embrace all of that and more? And for today's episode, we have our go-to guest host, great friend, huge supporter, the best, Deb Beeman. Deb, welcome to Chick Chat.
Thank you for having me back. Appreciate it. Love being here.
Of course. We love having you here, and our audience loves having you here. So I think we have a really cool topic for today, and something that's really going to resonate with, our wheeling community, our lady wheelers, and hopefully something that, can kind of maybe educate people that it's their first time. So today we're talking about going to a wheeling event, for a week. And we're not talking about you're hitting the trails, with your local Jeep club on a Saturday. We're talking about huge national events like Trail Hero, which we're both going to later in the year, where we met last year and where we'll be at again together this year, and kind of how to prepare for that, how it's a little bit different than your typical wheeling trips, what to expect, what we've learned, and what's worked well and what hasn't. So what do you think about that, Deb?
So Trail Hero was my very, very first event last year. So as many of you guys know, I'm pretty new to wheeling. I mean, I don't know how long I can say I'm a new wheeler. I mean, can I say that for a year, 2 years, 3? I don't know how long I can say it for. But when I went to Trail Hero last year, I legitimately was brand new. We had bought our 2021 JLU, so it's our EcoDiesel, and Wes had just finished his TJ. He had taken it out to Sand Hollow. So I had been to Sand Hollow one time before, and it was for 2 days. And that was kind of his maiden voyage on the Wesicon. So he found this event, and he's like, let's go to it together. And he's like, it's kind of like Easter Jeep Safari. Now, you have to understand, Wes 20 years ago used to do Jeeping and wheeling and stuff all the time. I never did that. So going out to Sand Hollow, watching him wheel and stuff, and kind of playing around on some of the obstacles, that was the most I had ever really done. I did go down to Moab with him for like one weekend, and we did 2 trails, and he drove most of it. So that was all of the experience that I had going into Trail Hero. And so in my mind, I didn't know what to expect. Like, what were the crowds going to be like? I had heard that Easter Jeep Safari was huge. It was like Moab would just be overrun with people for the entire week. And in my mind, I was envisioning like every trail was absolutely packed. And so I had these ideas of what an event would be like. And when I got to Trail Hero, yes, it was a huge event. There were huge long lines, and there were so many different options, and these are the times that you go, and this and that, and it was a little overwhelming. So I love this topic because it's one of those things where if I could go back and talk to my younger self, if I could talk to myself a year ago, it's like, be prepared for these things. So the little bit of wheeling that I did do, you have to understand, like, as a brand new wheeler, I'm still learning how to wheel. And like literally every single obstacle I have Wes or someone like telling me which way to go. In my mind, the thing that stood out the most was there are definitely guides there, wonderful guides. So they'll have someone at the beginning, the middle, and the end. So you got your gunner is the person at the end. You've got your mid gunner, and then your lead. And I was expecting that one of these leads would be at every single obstacle. There was not. I remember when I came up, so it was our very first trail. I'm super nervous. All these people, I'd never ever wheeled with more than like 2 people before. So being on, it was 777, and it was more of a night run. It started at 6 o'clock in the evening, and so all day I was nervous about it. And then we get out there, and there's all these people and all these rigs that are way more built than mine. And we come up onto the first obstacle, and I'm like sitting around like, where's my spotter? Like, is there someone that's going to help me up? And I had to try to figure it out, and I couldn't get up it. I couldn't figure it out, right? And, I got really nervous, all these people behind me and everything. So I ended up pulling off the obstacle and going around. And the next obstacle, Wes got out and he spotted me over. And so that was one thing that I wish I would have known. Pick the level of trail, and I blame this on Wes because he picked the trails. He wanted to go on the harder stuff. But for me, I would have picked something that was more like a 5, not a 7. So know your abilities before you go out, and know that you're not going to have someone at every single obstacle. So just be comfortable going over a lot of the obstacles yourself. Those trail guides and those people that are going to help you over and spot you over, it's mostly on the bigger, more technical obstacles. So you've got like the drop on the maze. There was someone there. On You Gotta Be Nuts, there was someone there. On a lot of the technical ones, there was someone there, but for the most part, there wasn't. So that was something that surprised me.
Right. And so and I think some people don't realize this, like when you do like Trail Hero or you do EJS or, something like that, you can register. And what we're talking about with trail guides, you can register for trails in advance, right? So you actually pay for these guided trails. You go on, you pick, and it's like booking tickets, like for a concert. You pick your trails, and it's based on levels, right? And so you can read about the levels or whatever. What I suggest, and I feel like, not a lot of super newbies would go to something like Trail Hero, maybe EJS, but not Trail Hero. But maybe that's just, and for you to say newbie in the trails I saw you on last year. But anyway, we'll get there. What I would do is you look at the trails and stuff like that, and then go on YouTube and watch a video of that trail to really maybe give you an idea of what it's really like. Like Beam and Builds has some great videos that you can watch, to kind of walk you through. Trail Militia is one that we've watched, our buddy that I actually got to meet in person at EJS. But there's lots of good channels that you can watch to maybe get some ideas about that trail, because you're exactly right. Like, you can get on some of these and there are guides, and the guides are great. They're really good, and most of the time they're local and excellent spotters and things like that. But if you've never been, something to them may not be spotter worthy, we'll say. But if you've never been there, you may need a spotter, and so it's definitely something to think about. Or, be sure that you have a radio so that you can say, hey, listen, can somebody get out and give me a spot on this? So
absolutely.
So when it comes to booking trails, what recommendations do you have on that?
So, I do love the idea of booking trails, and it's cool that it gives you kind of a breakdown and a list of all the trails that you can go on, the dates and the times and all that kind of stuff. I personally, I took the lessons learned from Trail Hero and I implemented those into Winter 4x4 Jamboree. And so, I reached out to my friends who I'd made a lot of friends on Trail Hero, and it's like, hey, are you going to Winter 4x4 Jamboree? So booking those trails with them. So, and the way that I look at it is that you're going with more people that you know. At the time, Wes and I really didn't know anybody when we went to Trail Hero. So going with friends, and if the guides are busy and you really do need a spot, it's really easy for one of your buddies to get out and just quickly spot you up. So it's nice to go with friends, and you can kind of plan ahead and be like, hey, these trails are going at this time. Like, this one has plenty of space. Let's book it. So I do think that is a really cool, I wouldn't say unique, because I know that all the different trails do that, but it's cool to be able to know which ones are going to be guided, which times that they're going to be going. And then it also lets you know when the trails are going to be empty afterwards, so that if you wanted to maybe run a trail afterwards, it's like, okay, this trail was ran, they started at 10 o'clock. So by the time 2 o'clock comes around, it should be empty. So I can go and run that one later. EGS, I know, is a little bit different, because I think you have to get permission right?
Some
Like
of
if you
them, yeah. So some of them, I think they close like certain days, period, unless you're on the guided trail. Like you can't run that trail at all that day. And so you have to like really look at the schedule if you're not doing guided trails to figure out what you can do and what you can't. But with Trail Hero, I don't think they do that. I don't think they close the trails down at all. You just know, hey, if they're running 777s at 10 a.m., there's going to be a crowd on 777s at 10 a.m. Like you just kind of have to plan around it.
Yep. And that right there, that little bit of advice that you just mentioned, I didn't know that with EJS. And so I know that with EJS, that was my very first time. And so I was glad to be able to kind of hang out with you guys, kind of feel it out and tag along and follow you guys. But that right there, I didn't know that they would shut down trails. I did not experience that at Trail Hero last year. So Trail Hero last year, Wes and I, we again went on 777s for the first day, and he ended up breaking something. One of his lockers broke. And so that night he was fixing it. He needed a part. All the parts stores were closed. And so he had to go out first thing in the morning to go get the parts. We ended up missing our hit time for that trail. And so once we got it fixed, it was like 10 a.m. Our hit time was like 8 o'clock. And it's like, crap, like we missed our trail. Maybe, we'll go out there and we can like find a trail. We had gone out on to Milt's Mile on his shakedown run that I had mentioned previously. And in our mind, we were thinking, okay, Trail Hero is a giant event. I think it actually surpassed EJS last year. It is huge. And so in my mind, I was thinking, there's just Jeeps everywhere and every single trail is going to be absolutely booked and like packed and everything. So we left the house probably around 10:30 or so. And by the time we got out to Milt's Mile, it was about 11. It was empty, absolutely empty. And so that was a learning lesson for me that, yes, you should sign up for a lot of these trails. It's great to meet friends. It's great if you've never been there before to learn the trails. Those guys, just like you had mentioned, they are probably local. They know the trails really, really well. And so it's a good way to experience the trail in a safe way. That doesn't mean that you can't go and experience other trails outside of that too. And so that is something that I wish I would have known. I just thought that every single trail was like blocked off or totally booked or packed full of people. They weren't. So if it was something like, hey, I want to go out and do a shakedown run, or I just made this fix on my rig and I want to make sure that it's holding up and I just want to do something easy, you should be able to do that. So those are things that I wish I would have known.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I definitely learned too, because it was our first year at Trail Hero last year too, and we booked like trails every day. And I can't remember if it's 1 or 2 days that we booked 2 trails, and that's a lot, but you can overbook yourself, right? And then you make friends out there, and you meet people, and they're like, hey, you want to go run this? You want to go run this? So I say your first time, definitely book some guided trails. You're learning the area, especially if you're going not with people that learn the area or whatever, but also leave some time for like, if you do meet friends, if you do want to go out and explore, to not overextend yourself. So you have that freedom with your schedule to go out and do some different things and do some exploring on your own.
Yeah, you're brave to do 2 trails in a day, to book 2 trails. Like I'll do 3 trails on my own, but a lot of these trails, like I've been so at Trail Hero, like when I met you on the bays and the ledges, I want to say that there was at least like 30 rigs, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean,
they were on the bays.
And it, something that would, if you were to do it on your own, would probably take an hour and a half. With that many rigs, it's like 4, 5, 6 hours, unless there's a rollover. Like you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes you think, well, you look on the map and it shows you, you go on to Onyx or whatever, and it's like, okay, it's like a mile or so. How long could that really take you? It takes you a long time. A long time with that many rigs. And so overextending yourself, like you were talking about, like I think that limiting yourself to 1 booked trail with these groups is probably the max. Now, something that I was surprised with was on one of our last days, we booked Front Range. Now, Front Range is not as well known as like the Maze. It's a great trail, very technical. Same with Papa Smurf. Awesome trail, absolutely awesome. Highly recommend. There were 4 people, the 2 guides and Wes and I. That was it. And
I would have loved
it was great. And that's actually how we met Rick and Chris, who have become our friends now. They were our guides. And we ended up hanging out with them for the rest of the day. After we finished it, it took us all of like 2 hours to finish. They're like, well, that's everything. We thought we would have more people on the trail. Should we go hit Papa Smurf? It's like, let's go, let's do it. So yeah, not every single trail that you book is going to be as packed as the Maze or those more well-known ones, but just to be safe, I would say just book one a day for sure.
Yeah. And so when we booked, we did we did one for a morning and one for an evening run. One was like a 777's evening run or something like that. But you definitely have to make sure if you want to do something like that or do an evening run, or you feel like you need to do 2 trails, definitely pick that first one wisely.
Yes.
Maybe pick something that's not quite as difficult or, closer to maybe the front of the park, because you think Sand Hollow, especially for Trail Hero, oh, it's in this park. Okay. Yes. Right. It's closer together than Moab, I would say. Right.
Yes.
But still, you can drive for a hot minute through those dunes to get to a trail. Like, it's not just like, boom, you're there. No, and Moab's even further. And I think sometimes people don't realize that with Moab is the distance between the trails and the town of Moab and the trails. So.
Oh, absolutely. From like that area that we like, the starting area. And I know that it's changing this year. They're going to a different kind of format where the staging lanes are going to be at the fairgrounds, which is what they did for Winter 4x4 Jamboree. I prefer the other way around, and they explained why they did it, and it makes sense to me. It's not as convenient, but from where those staging areas were for last year at Trail Hero to where Unforgiven is, for example, 45-minute drive. So like you look at it on a map and it's like, I think it's only like 6 miles or something. No, it's going through dunes. It's going through all these different things. So just plan accordingly. It looks close on a map, but it takes time. It really does.
And especially with something like that. So then if you have like a meetup time or whatever, you got to consider your air up, air down, disconnect, whatever your situation is going to be. You're going to have to factor that in when you're going, to and from the different trails. So that's just something to keep in mind. And, I mean, and for Trail Hero, for most of us that aren't local, it's a haul out there, right? Like we drive literally days, you know what I mean, to get there. And so if you're going to do that and you're going to be wheeling, and especially if you're going to be doing challenging stuff like we do, and you're going to be pushing your rig, plan accordingly. Bring
absolutely.
Spare parts, bring tools, know what your, like you're talking about West breaking and different things. I broke at Trail Hero last year. Like, know kind of what your weak points are and prepare for that, because you don't want to go all that way to have a break put you down for 2 or 3 days.
Oh, absolutely.
And also you want to be able to get yourself off the trail.
Exactly. So what's funny is I'm not sure if I told you about our new Canadian friends that we met right before EJS. So it's this young couple. No, they were on they were on Hell's Revenge with us. Yeah. So they had come down from Canada to go to Easter Jeep Safari. They had never gone to Easter Jeep Safari, wanted to do it. They had a brand new Jeep. There was a sensor that was, I'm not exactly sure which sensor it was, but they couldn't get into 4-wheel drive. So when they were coming through, we met them because they were picking something up from us off a marketplace. We were like, hey, we can take a look at it. We tried to help them, but it definitely is a sensor. We don't sell sensors. We don't fix sensors. And so we tried to help them as much as possible. They limped along as much as possible down at EJS. They were able to do, I think, 1, maybe 2 trails, but for the rest of the time, they couldn't wheel. So they drove all the way from Canada to wheel, and they were there for the entire week. And really, they only wheeled 1 or 2 days. And so that's why, like, when we heard that they were still down there and that their Jeep was broken and that they weren't doing any more trails, it's like, hey, join us on Hell's Revenge and go on that one. So do a thorough rundown, especially if you're coming from across the country or out of country. Do a thorough rundown of your Jeep to make sure everything is perfect. Like you said, know your weak points of your Jeep, like U-joints, maybe, Amanda?
Yeah. And people thought that, so Dan, who was our trail guide, who you've become friends with, and Dan, I hope you see this because you were the best ever. That was my favorite trail that we ran. So thanks, it was awesome. Was our trail guide there. And when my U-joint broke, like he was spotting me up this obstacle and it was pop, and both of our hearts just sank. And he was like, oh no. And I was like, oh yeah, that sucks. But I was like, no big deal. I got U-joints. And he was like, oh yeah, but it's still pain. I said, no, I brought a press too. He was like, shut up. You seriously have a press in the back of your Jeep? I was like, hell yeah. I know. That's going to be break. I was like, yes. And we fixed it on the trail, right? I mean, yeah. So like an hour and we were back.
That's being prepared. You're an overachiever, Amanda. Seriously. A press. That's impressive. No pun intended. Oh my gosh, that was bad. I'm sorry. Delete that.
Great job, Dan. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't want to be down for, any period of time. And also I don't want to be a burden on the trail, even though as Jeepers, that's what we do, right? We help people out and we make sure everybody makes it off safely. But I knew if I was going to break something, that would probably be it. And sure as shit, that's what happened. So, it's things like that. Think ahead if you can. And there's no way that you can think about every scenario or bring every part, obviously. But it's just thinking about things like that. Maybe like you have spare axle shafts, toss those in the truck. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Things like that. So what do you bring, Deb? What's your spare part that you have with you for the Debicon or for the Wesicon?
So for the Wesicon, so it's funny that you mentioned axle shafts. Yeah, we actually bring extra axle shafts. He ended up breaking one of his axles, and we didn't really know it until we got home. It was actually on West Rim. On one of the obstacles that we found, it was an optional. But yeah, we heard a pop and didn't think much of it. But anyways, we bring axle shafts, and because of the 777 fiasco that we went through, he now brings extra lockers. He understands, just as you were saying, like, understand your rig, understand its weak points. Just because it was a custom built Jeep, Wes built it himself. He's still like engineering some things with it and everything, but just the way that locker cable runs, it gets pinched. And we've tried it several different ways, and it's been pinched twice. We've broken 2 locker cables, so we always bring extra locker cables. So that's just an example of understanding your Jeep, your rig, and being prepared for it while you're out there. People break. It just happens. And a lot of times people will have spare parts on them. They'll have tools and everything. Just also don't be that person that's on the trail that expects other people to fix them, that you don't have any tools, that you don't have any recovery gear. Make sure that not only are you bringing those extra pieces and parts, that you're bringing the tool kits too, that you're bringing recovery kits so that you can be the person that is jumping out and being like, hey, I've got a soft shackle. Do you need it? Like, hey, I've got this wrench. Do you need it? It's always so super helpful. It's always better to be over prepared than under prepared, for sure.
Mm-hmm. And we learned with my U-joint. So I think it was Dan that had it, the angle grinder, because, like the cap broke and it was this whole pain in the ass. And we ended up because you try to press it out, but then when the part breaks and the U-joint just Oh, what a mess those things are. I run RCVs now because we don't ever want to do that again. But anyway, we bought an angle grinder. Obviously we have them in the shop, but we have a 20-volt one that we carry with us now because we learned. And you know what? Time before last, we went out to Barnwell Mountain, which is the closest place to us here. Guess what? A friend with us broke a U-joint. And guess what? We needed that grinder to get it off. And guess who had a U-joint, a press, and a grinder? This girl. Yeah.
That girl right there. She did. See, you live and you learn. And that's the beautiful part about having experience. And I going back to the idea of this of this whole podcast is that, you're new to it. You don't have that experience. And so leaning into other people's experiences and being like, okay, well, what can I glean from this? What can I learn from it? What other things can I bring? I know that for us, specifically, we've gone on runs where like Wes broke a knuckle on his Jeep. We were close enough to home to where we lugged up a whole generator and his welding like setup from home, which was a big pain. But after that, he was like adamant, like, I am going to get a welding set, like a portable one. And like, I didn't even question it. Like, absolutely. Like I could see the value in that. And since then, like at Winter 4x4 Jamboree, he used it. I don't know if at Easter Jeep Safari, if we used it, but basically almost every time that we've gone out, either we have needed it for something or someone else has needed it. So like just thinking of those kind of things to put into your toolkit that could help you or others out as well. So, your U-joint helps someone else out. Our welders help someone else out. Like and that's what the Jeeping community is all about. You're going out there, you're learning how to wheel, you're spotting each other, and you want everybody to make it off the mountain safely. And that's what's so great about the community is that we're all here rooting for each other and wanting to help each other. And I love that.
Right. And there was something about the like atmosphere of Trail Hero. It is just such a fun event. It's almost like electric out there. It's our favorite week. Electric. Yep. Like it's the coolest event. It's the coolest vibe. Like the trail guides, everyone that we met, we absolutely loved. You know what I mean? Just they wanted to share the experience, make sure everybody was safe and have the best time. And we just met a ton of cool people out there. And in the town, we stayed in Hurricane last time. And I think, we're staying in like Washington this time or, St. George, whatever. It's just such a friendly community. And it was just a pleasure to be there and beautiful. And we just absolutely loved it. And that's kind of another point. So we're talking all this about wheeling and, spare parts and all this. But another thing not to sleep on at these events is the vendor shows. And not just to go shopping, like, yes, shopping, obviously, but you can sit down and like have a conversation with some of these manufacturers, some of these vendors, instead of just looking on a website or whatever, have in-depth conversations with them about their parts and things like that to really, get an understanding. You can even sign up on the different runs. Like a lot of them are sponsored by different, manufacturers or whatever. And you can wheel with people from that, that vendor, that manufacturer, and like really get a better understanding of their products. And that was really cool. Like we did a run, I think it was Milt Smile. We did the Milt Smile with Milt leading, right? And nice. It was one of the best experiences. Talk about just a genuinely nice man and just the best trail guide, right? The trail is named after him. But anyway, so much fun that was. But also, I think it was sponsored by it's American Iron Ball Joint Deletes, right? And the gentleman, the owner, the creator, whatever, was there wheeling with us, and like that's something we'd always kind of been interested in, like when it's time for us to get new ball joints or do something. And like, but we didn't really know. And we got to like have in-depth conversations with this man that created this product about it and answer questions and do stuff like that and see, you know what I mean? And that's so cool because like to have that understanding or to be able to, you know, get to intermingle with that. And I mean, it's just so cool. And you can learn, you know, about these different things instead of just buying off of a website, which is also great. You know, I don't know. I like that experience. I like being able to talk to the people and understand like, you know, more about the different things that I love, the parts that I want to put on my Jeep. So.
Oh, absolutely. I think it was at Easter Jeep Safari because, you know, I was struggling with the death wobble. And I think you guys were the ones that were talking about ball joint deletes. And I'm like, what? Like, I didn't even know that that was a thing. And so, yeah, like if I would have been on that same trail run, I would have definitely pulled him aside and been like, what is this? Like, is that legit? Is it only for trails? Can you really run them on the streets? Like that's a great opportunity to really talk to someone in person. No one likes to, in this day and age where, you know, you're flipping through videos every 2 seconds and like, if no one gets back to you within 30 minutes, it's like, I forgot about you already. It's nice to have that immediate, connection with that person, get immediate answers. And that is great to have. Going to the vendor show, like for example at Winter 4x4 Jamboree, that's actually how I met Next Venture. So I was struggling bad during Winter 4x4 with my bumper. So I had just put on those 40s, right? And I'd cut out a bunch of my wheel wells, put on these fenders, everything. I thought I had all the clearance in the world. I even have a ramp out of my shop outside. And so we were testing it every single angle we possibly could. We thought we had it dialed in. I was not prepared for how much my tires would rub on my bumper. And I had an aftermarket one on there. It wasn't anything special or whatever, but it just hung over so much. And then the approach angle, you know, especially like on Unforgiven, you're coming up onto these walls and, you know, you can't hit them straight on because you've got this big lug, you know, huge, you know, bumper on the front. And so I was really frustrated. And so it was great to be able to just go up to them and be like, what is this chop bumper? Like, what does that mean? What you're saying I'm going to have to weld something on, cut some of my frame off? Like, that doesn't sound right. You know, like, is that still safe? Is it going to compromise the frame? So it's nice to be able to get that immediate feedback from the vendors and to build those relationships with them as well. So no, I completely agree with you. The vendor show, you should not like look past, have fun, great food there too. There was some ice cream there that was just like top notch. It was like some custard that was amazing. Of course, I always have to bring food into it, snacks. And then the music festival as well at night was awesome. Like there's just so much going on at these events that it's not just getting out there and being in the big crowd of people and wheeling. It's creating community, creating friendships, creating bonds, you know, experiencing, you know, meeting all these new vendors and being able to see firsthand what they have to offer, being able to listen to good music under the stars and just having it's the best vibe. It seriously is. So
yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And we're we are like huge Matt's Off-Road Recovery fans. Like, I mean, obviously millions of people are, right? Like his YouTube channel is crazy. Like we are ridiculous Matt's Off-Road Recovery fans. So of course we went to Matt's Off-Road Recovery, bought like the shirts and the hats or whatever. But we actually like saw like the Morbear like out on the trail, and then we saw Matt and, you know, walking somewhere and like, I mean, we were like, you know, little kids seeing movie stars. We're like, it's Matt, you know, but like, I don't know, stuff like that is cool. It was the same with EJS, you know what I mean? Like seeing, we don't watch TV, we watch YouTube. You know, so
of course you got to have Rory, and got to go meet him down in Moab. Yep.
So we at Trail Hero last year, we were when Rory did the chute backwards, we're in his video because we were at the top of the chute. We had just gone up it. And so we're at the top of the chute when they're videoing Rory going up the chute backwards. So that's
I actually got that video. I have a short of it. So I'm going to have to go back and look at it and see if you're actually in it. Like, there you are. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. I was at the very bottom of recording it. So. That was so funny. Wow.
Yeah, we're nerds. We like totally had fangirl moments on, all of our friends and, seeing all the cool people from YouTube or whatever. So,
absolutely.
And that's what it's, So,
and what I love about Matt, the thing that I love about Matt is that he is like, he's the nicest dude in person. So I got to have a chance to actually talk to him for a little bit at Winter 4x4 Jamboree during the vendor show. And it was like the very end of the day. Most of the people had already kind of left and people were kind of packing up all their booths and everything. So it was very, very light. And he took the time to really talk to us. And he just seems like the nicest dude. Like, think of like that super friendly, and I'm not saying he's old, but just thinking of the demeanor, like think of the sweetest grandpa, like grandpa vibes, just or dad vibes that just is really caring, really sweet, really, I just love him to pieces. He's a great guy, super great guy. So the person that you see on YouTube is like the same person, and it's always fun to see what they're actually like, not on camera. And it's so fun to see when they're actually even better in person. So
yeah, that's the best. And like, of course, I've interviewed Shanna from Colt Builds It on here, and I mean, excellent episode. What a cool person she is. But like Shanna and Colt, we had kind of talked. Shanna and I had, and we got to actually sit down and meet them out at EJS. And that's part of the fun of this is like meeting people that maybe you've made friends with on Instagram or whatever, or, online in this community. And man, what kind, genuine, wonderful people. And it's so cool when you see, these people, the Peck brothers, again, what kind, awesome, amazing humans these people are. And I'm sure people say that about you. They're like the Beemans, the kind, wonderful, awesome people when they, it's just, I love it. That's part of what I love about this community is, the genuineness of it. So.
Oh, absolutely. I remember when I was in March, I was down there and the whole crew for the Yee crew had come out from Texas. And that was I'd been friends with Daisy Cutter. And so I got to meet her in person. It's like, it's just so fun.
I love her. She's the best. Yeah.
She's so awesome. Yeah. We spent like 3 days together. It was so much fun. It was so much fun to meet people in person. But I also wouldn't pass up the opportunity. Like, yes, you're meeting people for the first time that you've met on Instagram, but take the opportunity. This is kind of like a little hack, right? Get to your staging area early. Get there like 30 minutes early. Stage it there, and every Jeep that comes through, go check out their Jeep. Go make friends. Like, that is such a great opportunity to meet people, to see what people have done to their rigs, to give you some ideas for your own rig for yourself, but just to make friends. That's how we've made a couple of our friends, is just sitting in line waiting for the thing to start, and like, don't pass up that opportunity. Don't be shy and sit in your Jeep. Like, walk around, make friends. I was in line for, I can't remember which one it was, but Aqua Jeep Girl. So Julie, I'd seen out of the corner of my eye, I'd seen this aqua blue Jeep, and now like fangirl moment for me because, Trail Hero was my first time out there, and it's like I'd only really seen YouTube videos, and she was like someone that I'd been watching for a while and just really admired her. And so when I saw her Jeep, I was like, oh, is that Aqua Jeep Girl's Jeep? Oh, and so I of course walked around and like was like taking pictures and like, oh my gosh, like I'm being a total fangirl right now. And someone comes up and was like, hey, are you looking for Julie? And I was like, is this Aqua Jeep Girl's Jeep? And they're like, yeah, hey Julie, come over. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to meet her in person. Like, don't miss those opportunities. Go meet the people, go say hi, go take pictures, go mingle. That's what this is all about. It's so much
Oh
fun.
yeah.
Don't miss it. Seriously.
And it's amazing because like Julie is like, I mean, and think about how hard we work on these Jeeps, right? Like think about when somebody comes to like take a picture of my Jeep or to look at my Jeep, like make my freaking day. You know what I mean? I worked so damn hard on that thing. And to think that somebody else appreciates that hard work, hell yeah. And that's, I mean, I did the same thing with Julie, and so sweet and kind and wonderful. Like, anyway, yeah, it's the best. It's the best experience. So
she's another one of those people where she's the exact same person off camera, or even better in person than on camera. Yeah. Like she's a sweetheart. Absolutely freaking love her. Absolutely love her.
Oh yeah. I mean, I suckered her into an episode of Chick Chat too. And she's just,
I watched it. Absolutely. I watched it.
Yeah. Yeah. Just what a nice, genuinely kind human she is too. Love it. And that's part of the fun of it, is meeting all these people that you see and seeing all these rigs, you know what I mean, that you've seen, and it's just really cool. It's a cool atmosphere and highly recommend. Any other, before we wrap up, are there any other tips you have for a first time person for a big event like Trail Hero or EJS?
So I do want to say one thing. Trail etiquette. There are a few things that newbies may not understand. And I know that I didn't really understand it either, but like, as I was watching it, I could understand why other people were getting frustrated. Luckily, I was not the person, hopefully, that was bugging people. But for example, right after the shoot, you remember at Trail Hero, there was always a big lineup of people wanting to go up the chute. It's very iconic, very popular. There's an obstacle right after the chute. Mm-hmm. This is an obstacle that at Trail Hero Wes couldn't get. He tried like 2 or 3 times, but there was a huge lineup of people. Like, of course, it's optional. You didn't have to do it. So there was only like maybe 1 in 3, 1 in 5 that were trying it, but there's still people wanting to try it. And so trying it 2 or 3 times, not a problem. Sitting on the obstacle for 30 minutes is not okay. Like, just keep other people in mind and being respectful of that, and not like try it a few times. Then if you don't get it, then pull off, get in line. You can try again. That's fine. But just remember other people, you know? So yeah, trail etiquette. If garbage, big thing, make sure if you pack it in, pick it out. If you see any garbage on the trail, pick it up, take it out, keep the trails nice, So just learn some trail etiquette. That's just another thing that I would, to a newbie like myself, to try to do these things and learn these things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like that sometimes, and the guides on the guided runs would address that, right? They would tell people like, hey, when we get it, everybody's welcome to try the obstacle, whatever, but we're going to do like 2 or 3 times, and then we're going to move on to the next. So everybody has the shot. And I love when they just address that up front, what the expectation is. But I think that's something that probably shouldn't have to be addressed. But yeah, definitely. I mean, let everybody have a shot, So absolutely. I get it. And I know that you're talking about, because it's a challenging one. But yeah.
Hey, he did get it at Winter 4x4. So I was super, super proud of him. It was the day after he rolled. And so it was like the Wesicon comeback. It was a victorious moment. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Micah did that one in the paddy wagon, and it was hard. And on the wheelbase, a 2-door wheelbase. Yeah. I bet that was a stinker.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He got pretty floaty up front. Like he had his hand on the reverse, like ready to pull backwards. And you can see like he had one wheel way up in the air and the other one was just barely touching. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh geez. Made for a cool video, but yeah, he said that was probably the most tippy he's ever been. So it's a little sketchy, but still fun. Mm-hmm. Still fun.
Yeah, we'll have to try that one again this year.
I'll let you do that. I don't know if I'll try it. Maybe
good I'm feeling, you know.
We'll see how we're feeling, if we're feeling spicy or not.
If I can talk you into riding with me, you got to be nuts. Or if I'm going to be brave enough to do, you got to be nuts. But we'll see. My Jeep definitely is more prepared than it was last year at Trail Hero. So my suspension setup is better. So we should be good.
Your Jeep 1000% can get up it. I mean,
it's not like Jeep's ability that I'm concerned with. It's my abilities that I'm concerned with.
Just, there was one obstacle on the ledges, and it was one that we legitimately watched someone flop over on, and it made me really scared to go up it. Honestly, there was a bypass, and someone's like, I don't know, the bypass seems a little bit harder than the actual obstacle, which sounds very much like you got to be nuts, right? Like the bypass is not better.
Bypass is not, no, it's not.
It's terrible. Anyways, like I don't even call that a bypass. It's like you're just like stuck between a rock and a hard place on that one. So on the ledges, I pulled up to it and I was super, super scared. And something that stuck out to me was there was just a guy, I don't even think he was part of our group. He was with another group and he was just kind of watching. We all love watching the obstacles. And I pulled up and I was like asking the crowd, like, should I do it? Like, I don't know how I feel about it. And they're like, if you're going to do it, just know you commit to it. Like the second you go into it, you're committed and follow through, right? And I definitely did. The video was very interesting, but I committed. And you got to be nuts is the exact same thing. You commit to it. You really, really do. So as long as you keep that in mind, you'll be fine. Just commit. Commit now, Amanda. Commit now.
Oh God. No. No, ask me.
We'll get you to do it. I'm not going to do it again, but we'll get you to do it.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about Mickey's hot tub. Like, I've done that. It's on video. Anybody can see it. And I don't know if I ever need to do it again because I proved to myself I could do it. But,
Really? Mickey's hot tub? Like, I mean, when Reggie and I did it, like, we wasn't like 0.5 miles an hour. Like it was the slowest crawl. I was crawling slow on purpose. Like,
yeah, there was water in it when I did it, which made it a little bit.
Okay, that's fair.
It was a little
totally different beast.
She had to dry it off and then up. But anyway,
them stickies aren't that stickies at that point.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, no, wait. I mean, y'all just poop right up, and I was like, well, hell, I wish it would have been that easy when I did.
You should have done it again, just to be like, hey, it's not that bad. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. All right, Deb, tell everybody, all of our listeners, viewers, where they can find you on social, where they can learn all about Beam and Builds.
You can find us on YouTube and on TikTok and on Instagram and on Facebook. We're not as active on Facebook, but YouTube, we have our full-length videos where we do our epic Jeeping adventure. If you're into like garage builds and stuff, we have our builds there as well. Our whole model is build stronger so you can play harder, so that we can build a strong Jeep so we can go play real hard with Amanda and Micah. And then on TikTok, we really like to do a lot of lives on TikTok. In fact, one of our last builds, we built almost completely on live so that we could answer questions to our followers. And if they had any questions about the parts that we use or how we do things. So it's been a really, really fun, interactive way of talking to our community and building a community as well. So that's at Beam and Builds. So it's spelled like be a man. My husband loves it. Like, yeah. So it's not like BEE, but yeah, be a man, Beam and Builds. And yeah, we'll see you there. Love to have you.
Awesome. Well, thank you for always being here with us, Deb. We love having you as a part of our Chit Chat family. And so if you're interested, oh yeah, you're great. And our viewers love you too. So you can always find me through the Chit Chat Instagram, or you can find me at at walker.texas.wrangler on Instagram, and then the link in my bio will take you to all of our other social medias and watch our adventures, mine and Micah's Jeeping adventures on there as well. So anyway, that's going to be it for this episode of Chick Chat, and we hope that you have been inspired by our stories, insights, and the tips that we've shared. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to the Jeep Talk Show so that you never miss an episode. And be sure that you're checking out the Chick Chat Instagram, because we have started the Chick Chat roundtables that we're trying to do several times a month. And Deb is one of our faithful roundtable members, where we run them live on Instagram and on TikTok, where we interact with our viewers, that we have topics that you guys can jump in on and be a part of the show. And we absolutely love it. So be sure, if you're not following the Jeep Talk Show Chick Chat Instagram page, that you're doing that, so that you don't ever miss out on any of the fun.
Broadcasting since 2010.
You're my friend. You're my new friend.